Well, today I woke up at home, but my home was not at the marina. My home was anchored up outside one of my old fishing spots. This was a place I knew pretty well. This day was actually kind of special because it was the first time I was able to take my home to the fishing spot. Not just drive my truck with a kayak down to the side of the road and launch and fish. Today I had practically everything I owned with me. But before I could go fishing, I knew I had to take the dogs out. Well, after a cup of coffee. In order to take the dogs for a walk, of course, I have to put them in the dinghy. Fortunately, they were getting pretty good at this. Not too many people out there, I'm sure, have to take their dogs from a boat, in a boat, to an island in order to take them for a walk. Fortunately, I was set up pretty good. Old Reliable, the little Coleman motor, motored us all over there. This little place is called Fantasy Island on the map. Seemed like a perfect place to take the dogs for a walk. We had the whole place to ourselves. And I happened to know that there was a lot of bait around, so I brought my bait bucket and my cast net. Over here there is a sandbar with lots of greenbacks on either side. I think technically they're called pilchards, which is fine. The greenback or threadfin herring is a much harder fish to keep alive. The little guys swimming around here are a little hardier, and they were really easy to get. As the dogs enjoyed their little walk, I put my catch inside the bait bucket. I made sure to only take as many as I needed. You are a bully, Bayard. So with all this out of the way, the dogs had their walk, I had my bait. It was time for us all to go back home. This beautiful sheltered anchorage was just a very short ride away from that island. And the weather was beautiful. I knew I was going to have to do some fishing. First, check out my home. It's got a new red stripe along the bottom. That's courtesy of my friend Richie, who helped make the sticker on the back that says Kontiki. We designed stickers to go all the way around the boat. It took quite a bit of doing to install it, because I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to putting stickers on boats. But I got it to work. You can see the rub rail there got painted red. Still a couple spots missing, but for the most part, it's all done, and I think it looks pretty good. It looks really good when the wind is calm and the reflections are beautiful. today my home looks good. And it's time to get the dogs back aboard. Thank you, little bass raider. That and the Coleman motor turned out to work pretty well as a dinghy. Now you can see I'm going to take some of this bait and I'm going to throw it out there. It's supposed to be really good bait. I was in about 9 foot of water, which is a little different than the flats that I'm used to fishing. As that little fish drowned out there, I kind of realized after a while that nobody was biting. And the only thing around were the oyster catchers. So I figured I'd go up front, start the generator, and make some breakfast. Everybody loves breakfast. It helps take your mind off the fact that the fish aren't biting. And hey, who doesn't love bacon? I had all the comforts of home here with the generator running. Hot plate, eggs, bacon, ham, potatoes, onions. Put a little cheese on there. And something not all the adults like, ketchup on my eggs. Alright, I like it though. Now that breakfast was made, turn off the noisemaker and enjoy a nice home-cooked meal. I needed a little energy. The dogs were going to lay down, and I was going to go out fishing. I jumped in the bass raider and went across the way to my old fishing spot. I didn't have a trolling motor with me, so I had to leave the motor running as I pulled around and looked for fish. They were easy to spot because it was very calm out. Everywhere I looked, I saw ripples off in the distance. Slowly I motored over to them, but I realized that these schools of fish, whatever they were moving away from me. I don't think they were really running from me. See them off there in the distance, I wonder? They just happened to be moving down the flat. So I just kept motoring along and trying to catch up to them. I have a mirror lure there hanging from the fishing rod. And of course I have the bait up there in the bucket. I don't think the bait survived the trip though, so I figured I'd try the artificial first. These big ripples I see are moving pretty fast, and it took a while for me to catch up to them. Here I slow down because I'm getting to within casting distance. So I reach back and I put the motor in neutral. The cast goes right across the front of the ripple. A perfect cast. But whatever it is, it didn't want it. It just kept swimming. Now it was well out of casting distance. And it was going to take a little doing to catch up to them again. The water was really skinny, so I scooted my chair forward to help the boat level out a little bit so that I could motor up even faster. Before long, I had caught up to them again. I still didn't know what they were. What are these things that I'm chasing? But they seemed to have stopped, like they were circling around now, instead of just moving down the flat. Perhaps they had come across some little bait fish or something. So I throw the motor in neutral, and I give the artificial another try. Again, a perfect cast. Right now, the ripples that I see out there in the distance are moving right towards the lure. And nothing. They're just not eating it. So I decide maybe it's time for one of those pieces of bait that I got in the cast net. Even though they're all dead. Seems I need a better live well on this dinghy. Bait landed right on top of them. Seems live bait was the way to go today. I got myself a nice sized energetic fish here. He's starting to pull me and my dinghy around. And I got the motor in neutral. I had no idea what kind of fish this was. Those ripples there are what I was seeing off at a distance. Gotta love these clear days with no wind. Not the redfish I was hoping it would be, but these fish are a lot of fun. I love catching jacks, they're just so powerful. This was a nice sized one. Say ah. Well, as beautiful as it was, I knew I had some work I wanted to do on the boat, and I was planning to be here for a few days as long as the weather held out. So I said goodbye to the fish, and I got myself together so that I could motor back home, hang out with the dogs for a little bit, maybe make lunch, maybe do a little work. It kind of felt like I was on vacation. Today, well, back at the boat, I realized that there was a task that really had to be done. It required a tool I had down below. And a length of hose, and something to help me breathe, and my body glove shoes, my wetsuit mask. That's right, I was going under. I hadn't been hiring anybody to clean the bottom of the boat. The paint on the hull has kept most of the growth off, but everything else needed a good scrub. My recent purchase of the compressor and the hose and everything has enabled me to do my own bottom cleaning. It took a couple hours, but I got it done. Question is, what are all these things crawling on me? After I got out of the water, I realized these little creatures, whatever they are, were all over my wetsuit. Needless to say, it was time to get in a shower, which I also had on board. And then it was time to see if I could catch something. Surely there must be some fish around here somewhere. Oh, there's one. That seemed to be a little black tip or spinner shark or something, and it was only just a little baby. I know sometimes there are really big sharks around here. Cautious thing, isn't he? It's nice to know I was just under the boat cleaning it. There's a little toothless down there was hanging out with me. Good boy. Lucky for him, I don't want to go through the trouble of dehooking that fish, so he gets a free meal. I wound up feeding numerous pieces of bait to sharks under my boat, but really I'm not too upset that not a single one of them bit the hook, because this trip was about way more than just catching fish. Well guys, thanks for sticking around for another boat update. You notice nowadays it's more about me just taking the boat out and having fun, and if I do, I'll try to share it with you guys. And although there won't be as many projects as there have been in the past on these boat update videos, there still will be little things like this place I put together for my net. You see it's just like a piece of fabric there, and I made that out of the old bimini that was upstairs that got torn apart in the storm. And there's other things like this little piece of rope molding I'll be adding to the helm upstairs. Yes, that's me using a grinder out while I'm on the hook. That has a lot to do that I have a generator now, which is pretty awesome. I certainly am having a lot of fun on my new boat slash house, and having the freedom to take it wherever I want and just get away from the marina for a little while and drop the hook and spend some time out here. It's nice, it's quiet, very peaceful and serene. And as always, I never feel truly alone because I have you guys with me. And this is all really a lot to do with the fact that you guys have been coming along on these journeys. Were it not for all of my subs to this channel, well, I'd probably just be doing my regular job like I had been for years and years and years. You never know. But either way, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll leave you with the sunset that I took while I was out on the hook. Hopefully I'll be making more videos like this in the future. Catch you later.